This is yours truly, Comrade Knox. The situation in our country is becoming more and more outrageous each day. This past weekend, you saw how Mnangagwa shamelessly paraded his criminals, kuda kwashe dzake and Wikinelo Chivayo, around President Cyril Ramaphosa at the pre-Cape farm. You also saw how Mnangagwa and his thieves have tried to lie about the meeting to give a false impression of success to their evil intention, to mutilate the constitution in order to prolong their stay in power and steal more from you. We know their narrative is far from the truth about why President Ramaphosa came, how they were supposed to meet, and how Mnangagwa, under the influence of his Gananda, forced the meeting to be held in Kwekwe. No amount of propaganda can defeat the wave of change coming to Zimbabwe. What I can only assure you, fellow Zimbabweans, is that things are getting juicy. And to President Ramaphosa, Your Excellency, I am sure you now know the profiles of the people who were forced on you in Kwekwe at the weekend. Mr. President, these people's conduct has the potential of soiling your image and cost your presidency. I implore you to research more about this man. Vana veZimbabwe vari kuchema. Ni vanhu ivava. Your research will show you why Zimbabweans, including retired military generals, war veterans, churches, and all progressives want Mnangagwa and his criminals to go. For your own information, one of them, Chivayo, the Humpty Dumpty, who is always around Mnangagwa, and as if he is his wife, his ritual sexual partner, is under probe by your Financial Intelligence Center over corruption involving 1.1 billion rands. The corruption took place right in your own country. Just last week, a South African court also froze his assets and bank accounts. But Tsake is the biggest and most ruthless thief Zimbabwe has ever witnessed. His criminal activities have weighed on Zimbabweans for over a decade. And he is one of the people Mnangagwa loves most. Mr. President, an understanding of these criminals will inform you why Mnangagwa is so determined to mutilate the Constitution through Constitutional Amendment Bill 3 of 2026. Mnangagwa's desire to continue looting Zimbabwe is now a national security threat, with the potential of destabilizing the whole SADC region, including your country. Mr. President, and to my fellow Zimbabweans, I want you to understand that Mnangagwa is pushing these evil constitutional amendments because of two main reasons. One, to protect their loot and avoid going to jail. Two, to continue looting as most of their corrupt contracts are ending in 2030. There is nothing developmental about this agenda. It is just protection and fortification of loot. They want to remain in power for the rest of their lives, to hide all the crimes they have committed on the Zimbabwean people. For you to understand what I mean today, I will take you through how Mnangagwa, Tsake, and their associates have been milking our country dry. In one transaction, they have stolen 3.6 billion United States dollars through treasury bills since Mnangagwa became president. It is very important that all of you clearly understand this reality in order to appreciate what drives their desperate attempts to mutilate our constitution. Fellow Zimbabweans, today I will give you evidence on how these billions of dollars of our taxpayers' funds have been stolen by Chagwirei, Mnangagwa, and their associates. They stole the money through Command Agriculture, Kurimba Mining House, and the Mtapa Sovereign Fund. There are many more financial crimes they have committed, and all these crimes feature Mnangagwa and the Chagwirei as chief culprits. This is the background to the corruption. And listen very carefully. Sometime in 2013-2014, the military, led by VP Chwenga, Parent Shiri, and the other generals, may their souls rest in peace, did a situational analysis of the economic situation in the country. They also assessed the popularity of Mnangagwa, who was then VP and next in line to succeed President Mugabe. They wanted to assess his electability. They concluded that Mnangagwa was not popular with the people and needed strong support, underpinned by a people-centered uplifting program. This was the reason why the military generals developed the Command Agriculture. The scheme was designed to provide seed, fuel, farm equipment, and other vital inputs to farmers in order to solve the food security crisis in the country and turn around the economy. Command mining was lined up as the next phase of this transformative program. It was aimed to foster responsible extraction of our God-given resources for the benefit of our people and the smooth functioning of our government. The generals then presented this idea in a program to Mnangagwa, the then VP. They convinced him to present it to President Mugabe as an economic blueprint that would transform the agriculture and mining sectors of our country and underpin economic transformation. Mnangagwa, with the help of General Chwenga, then Commander ZDF, sought the assistance of Grace Mugabe to present the project to Mugabe, and the program was approved for implementation. The budget for Command Agriculture was set at $1 billion US, but the headline was that the government had no money to fund this program. The generals scratched their minds on whom they could work with to bring this beautiful dream to life. The Jurus then brought in Chagwirei, as he was already working with ZANU-PF in his Sakunda business. In 2013, ZANU-PF had a 45% stake in Sakunda through its investment company, Mvuto Investments. Sakunda Holdings was then brought to the table to run the implementation of the Command Agriculture program. Through Sakunda, Chagwirei was also a partner of Trafigura, one of the biggest fuel traders in the world. Chagwirei engaged Trafigura to provide the fuel and other inputs for Command Agriculture on credit, but Trafigura demanded security or guarantees. This is when Chagwirei was directed by the generals to engage Patrick Chinamasa, who was then finance minister at the time. Chinamasa then proposed to secure Trafigura with treasury bills worth $3 billion United States dollars. This was the time when Chinamasa was captured by Tagwirei until this day. Thereafter, Chinamasa became the beneficiary of Tagwirei's benevolence. Chinamasa ended the Crocodile Motel in Rusape, courtesy of Tagwirei. Now, instead of giving Trafigura the $3 billion in treasury bills from the government as security, Tagwirei kept them for himself instead, with some home market, and he gave a Secunda Holdings guarantee to Trafigura. Papakis is saying, Tagwirei then engaged banks in the country and started illegally discounting these treasury bills on the black market. He mobbed money from the banks and bought United States dollars on the black market. Most of the money was used to finance his lifestyle, buy some assets in the mining sector from a UK-listed company that was in administration, Mwana Africa. He used some of it to source command agriculture inputs. This discounting of treasury bills by Tagwirei to access cash from banks, which he offloaded onto the black market, resulted in the collapse of the local currency between 2016 and 2018. Tagwirei akataka kutenga nyika yese migodhi yese kuitenga kunziya yake. As a result, it caused untold suffering on Zimbabweans and wiped up more than $4.5 billion of Zimbabwean savings. Mutuudza kuti ndiye munhu angatibatsira nyika pamasanction. Ndiye munhu angatiita zvese ngaatendwe aite president. Mbavha ine mutsindo yakaombekwa nemutsindo wokuba. Ndiye the key money changer muZimbabwe. Akakodzera kudonha kwemari yenyika. This forced the United States and the United Kingdom to slap Tagwirei with sanctions. Tagwirei individually did more harm to the country than the so-called sanctions. Muroigi Tagwirei. So Tagwirei's grand looting, supported by political muscle in this disaster Mnangagwa, was now in motion. First, Tagwirei started by looting all the cash flows in Secunda Holdings through fees. He was paying himself fees to an offshore account he held in Switzerland at Julius Baer. Kunonzi kuomora uchinopfimbika, kunopfimbika kunge nungu nditagwirei uyo. While he was paying himself these horrendous fees, stretching into millions of United States dollars, no meaningful dividends were ever paid to ZANU-PF's Mvutwa Investments for its 45% shares in Secunda. Pabatisi say, kana mozona tumotokari tumwe tuchitengwa tutoya kuZANU-PF vamwe vanhu vachitengwa machairman muchidini zvozvo ndizvo philanthropist iri kubhadhara zvinhu zvayakaba zveZANU-PF zvayakudzoserwa kuZANU-PF asi zvichinzi ndezvake ndiye ari kukupai even zvinodonate.
This is the current situation we are having in our country muri yeZimbabwe. Munyika medu hamuna kugadzikana. Isusu sePurgajonzi Media tiri kupa kutsvagira inyaya, tinouya nenyaya semawanira tinoita tadziita, hatiwedzere kana kutapudza. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. I am signing out.